But I'm curious, so like with your eating habits, was it like for like stress eating, like just you loved like was it everything that you just consume and absorb? Like everything was food related?
I think for me, food was always like an event.
Okay.
So, it wasn't even necessarily like that I would just eat this insane quantity of food.
Right.
It was more just the emotional tie to food. So if I was going to order a pizza, I would need to like have a Netflix show or like a sporting event.
Right.
Like it would need to be this whole thing where like, like, all right, set up the coffee table, have my drink, like make it this whole thing. Like when I would work for the landscaping company, like I would go and pick up my lunch, whether it was Sonic or Firehouse Subs or whatever it was.
Right.
And I would have to like, back then I listened to talk radio because YouTube wasn't as, relative.
Right.
But like I would have to do it at the time where like the talk radio show that I liked came on. So it was like always revolving around some sort of event where there was a massive amount of dopamine.
Right.
And like when we traveled, everything was based off of where are we going to dinner?
Right.
Like it's so funny now, like this is our 4th year in a row coming to Miami, and we love Miami. We always come for our anniversary and we stay on South Beach. And besides last year, the first 2 years we came, everything revolved around like, what are we booking for dinner? Where are we going for brunch?
Right.
And like even this trip, like we had nothing planned, like literally didn't even look up restaurants, anything like that, because we just don't care anymore.
Right.
Food, like I still love food. Don't get me wrong. I love a good experience. I love going to a great restaurant. I'm still a foodie at heart, but it doesn't control my mindset. Like I would rather go check out a cool gym than go to a really good restaurant. But that just happened with time of just switching my habits, changing my lifestyle. And also when you're overweight and you eat like shit for a very long time, you don't realize how bad you feel all the time.
Right.
And so now we're both at the point where, yes, we can enjoy, I call it a free meal, but a cheat meal.
Right.
But then like, I hate the way that I feel afterwards.
Yeah.
So it's like last night we went to a really cool restaurant, called YOLO, and it was great. We had like tuna tartare to start with, which not too unhealthy. Like you're basically just having some raw fish. And then I got a steak and she got a salad with salmon on it, but I got truffle fries on the side.
They're good though.
And they were delicious, but like it wrecked me. Like I felt terrible. Like I felt swollen and just like not great afterwards. And that was just like, I mean, I had an 8-ounce filet and some French fries and a little bit of raw tuna. I watched people like consume 10 or 12 alcoholic beverages and like shove their face full of like 17 different items on their plate. Yeah. So it's like, but that used to be me.
Right.
And so I don't know, once you get to a spot where you're pretty optimized from a health standpoint, really food just takes a whole different course for you because you just hate not feeling good.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So
well, your life doesn't revolve around it anymore.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic.
But it's in there. It's, you got to keep pushing that guy deep down inside because he can come back out. He can pop up and say, boo.
I was actually just going to ask you. So is it, obviously it's not difficult for you now, but do you find yourself having to kind of keep that person in check?
Yeah. I think for me, like having certain goals revolving around fitness are very helpful.
Okay.
And so after I finished 75 Hard, I went on to do the Live Hard program, which is basically a full year of different phases of 75 Hard. And so I think that really solidified my mental change because there's so many things that you have to do within a year. And the way that the program's designed is that it makes you take breaks. And so those breaks are like a really great opportunity for your old habits to creep back in.
Right.
And then when I finished Live Hard, I decided to get into bodybuilding. And so going through bodybuilding prep is such an amazing thing because you have to be like, if you think 75 Hard is hard, like bodybuilding prep is like 75 Hard on steroids. Like it's just a whole nother level of commitment and just getting to this really dark place that you have to push yourself to go to. And so doing 3 shows last year, I think between 75 Hard, Live Hard, and that really solidified my mental shift. And now this year I'm not competing, but it's like I have a lot of sponsorships. Like we own a health and nutrition company. So like staying in very good shape is very top of mind. And having that goal of like looking really good, being the part, showing up every day, especially for our clients and showing them what's possible is definitely something that keeps me motivated. So like, I like having a little bit of external pressure, whether that comes from doing a program like 75 Hard, whether that comes from bodybuilding, whether that comes from just like, hey, you're sponsored by an athletic clothing brand and a supplement company, like you can't be fat representing their stuff. So having all those different external pressures for my personality is super helpful.
Yeah. So I think some people just generally operate better under pressure.
Yeah. I would say that, like, I'm a procrastinator by nature. And so like, I thrive under pressure, which isn't always the greatest thing. But having some sort of external pressure definitely has helped me. So always kind of having a goal in mind